Hi, I'm Dwayne Brown. Tonight on KPBS Evening Edition, an agreement in the San Diego hospice bankruptcy case, another day of arguments over same-sex marriage at the Supreme Court, and what would happen if California raised the minimum wage. We'll tell you about two opposing studies.
And two alleged drug cartel gang members already serving life sentences are back in court for what could be San Diego's longest trial in history. What the new charges are and how much the marathon trial could cost. That story in just a moment. Then, my conversation with legendary Broadway performer Ben Vereen as he brings his star power to a one-man show at the La Jolla Playhouse. I'm Peggy Pico. KPBS Evening Edition starts now.
KPBS Evening Edition is made possible by Joan and Erwin Jacobs and by
Hello, good evening. Thanks for joining us. A truce declared tonight in the San Diego hospice bankruptcy case. Attorneys representing both the hospice and its creditors agreed to work together to sell the organization's largest asset, its property in Hillcrest. The hospital and 8 acres are assessed at more than $18 million. Scripps has already made an offer to buy the property for about $10 million. Creditors accuse the hospice of giving Scripps preferential treatment. Coming up later on Evening Edition, we'll hear from 2 cancer doctors who trained at San Diego Hospice. Lawyers for theater shooting suspect James Holmes are offering a deal, a guilty plea in exchange for life in prison. Holmes is a San Diego native accused of killing 12 people and wounding dozens more in a Colorado movie theater last summer. His lawyers say they're trying to avoid the death penalty. Prosecutors haven't said whether they will pursue it, and they're not commenting on the plea offer. U.S. Supreme Court heard more arguments about same-sex marriage today, this time in a case focusing on the Federal Defense of Marriage Act. The 1996 law prevents legally married gay couples from getting the same federal benefits as married heterosexuals. The plaintiff is an 83-year-old New York woman who says attitudes have changed since the Defense of Marriage Act, or DOMA, was passed.
As we increasingly came out, people saw that we didn't have horns. People learned that, okay, we were their kids and their cousins and their friends, all of whom were coming out for the first time. And I think it just grew to where we were human beings like everybody else. And I really think that's what made the change, okay? I mean, you guys, I'm talking to you freely. You know, I'd have been hiding in a closet 10 years ago.
During today's hearing, Justice Anthony Kennedy questioned whether the federal law interferes with states' rights. Rulings on DOMA and on California's Proposition 8 are both expected at the end of June. A bipartisan group of senators says an immigration reform bill will be ready when Congress returns from spring break next month. They made the promise while touring the border in Arizona today. Senator John McCain says no one will be totally happy with the bill, but he also says only comprehensive reform has any chance of passing both houses. The border and immigration reform will be on the agenda when President Obama travels to Mexico in May to meet with Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto. His Latin America trip will also include a visit to Costa Rica. 2 men linked to a drug cartel and serving life in prison were back in court for what may be the longest criminal trial in San Diego history. Peggy Pico explains why.
Jorge Rojas Lopez and Juan Francisco Estrada Gonzalez are serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole after being convicted in 2009 of kidnapping and other crimes. Prosecutors say Lopez and Gonzalez are leaders of the Los Palillos gang, believed to be a branch of the Arellano Felix Mexican drug cartel. The men were among 17 alleged gang members originally indicted for kidnapping, torture, and killing 9 people in San Diego's South Bay, dumping their bodies in Chula Vista and Bonita. 2 of those bodies were also dissolved in acid. Professor Randy Grossman with the Thomas Jefferson School of Law in San Diego is here with more on this case. Welcome.
Hi.
Let's talk a little bit about this. Gonzalez and Lopez are already currently serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Why would the DA start another trial?
Well, there's really a couple factors. One is it's a much more serious offense, murder. They could be facing the death penalty, which is a different penalty than life without the possibility of parole. Secondly, we're talking about the victims. They may want some closure. Right now, you have these defendants that are incarcerated, and the reason is because they were convicted of a different crime. Now you can bring closure to the families of the victims.
If they are convicted of this murder, how likely is it that, since they already have a life sentence, that they would actually get the death penalty and actually be executed?
The fact that they already have a life sentence will have no bearing whatsoever on the fact whether they're actually executed. Currently, the death penalty is still on the books here in California. Although it's not enforced that frequently, they would still be on death row should that be the finding of the court and the jury.
And their life would change in prison if they were on death row.
Certainly, there are different amenities, different privileges that are associated with if you're there for a specific amount of time, if you're there, life without the possibility of parole, or if you're on death row. They may not have access to some of the things that they become used to just serving a life sentence.
Now, more than 200 witnesses, I'm told, are expected to be called upon during this trial, which could make this very lengthy, I believe 6 months to a year. It would be the county's longest trial in history. How much could this cost if it ends up going that long?
Oh, you're easily talking hundreds of thousands of dollars to millions of dollars. It is very expensive. You're paying a judge's salary. You're paying the courtroom staff, which consists of multiple bailiffs, of a court reporter, of interpreters. And then, of course, you have the attorneys. You have a deputy district attorney, and they may have public defenders as well. So it does get quite expensive.
I think some would argue that this second trial for these men is a waste of taxpayer dollars, a waste of court resources, especially after courts in California have been stripped back so much with the budget cuts. What would the response be to that? Is there plenty of money to do this?
I don't know that there's plenty of money. As you state, there's a fiscal budget crisis in the state of California, unprecedented cuts to the courts, really limiting access for all of us to get into the courts, whether it's criminal matters, civil matters. But there is a very compelling argument spending this amount of money. But as we've already discussed, this is a much more serious crime. We're talking about 15 different victims that were brutally murdered. And does it help to bring some closure to these families? Maybe.
Do you think that this trial could be sort of a way for the DA to send a message to drug cartel gang members, like, not on our backyard, not in San Diego, here's what's going to happen to you?
Certainly, it's always a factor that the district attorney's office is going to take into account. We want to send a message. We want to say it to the public. Hey, don't do this in our community. We're not going to stand for it.
All right. We will see what happens. Law Professor Randy Grossman, thanks so much for talking with us.
Pleasure to be here.
A San Diego charter school is closing its doors. Leaders of Nubia Leadership Academy have decided to shut it down this summer, a year after the state's Charter School Association raised concerns about the school. KPBS education reporter Kyla Calvert joins us from the News Center. Kyla, what raised flags about this school last year?
Well, in the last couple of years, the California Charter School Association has been part of a national push to create more academic accountability for charter schools. In December 2011, they published their first list of schools that they thought should not get the charter renewals that these schools have to apply for every 5 years. Nubia was one of 10 schools on that list that wasn't meeting academic targets the organization recommended. But when the school's charter came before the San Diego Unified Board of Education for renewal, the trustees did grant that renewal, but with certain conditions. And one of those conditions was changing the school's board of directors. And when that new board was seated this past fall, they found out the school was on track to have a $500,000 deficit by the end of the school year. They tried to take some corrective actions, but it seems like it was just too little too late.
And how often do charter schools close, and how many students here are affected?
About 170 students go to the school now. 5 years ago, it had about 350 students, and that was part of the problem. The school's board chair and San Diego Unified staff said previous leaders never did things like correct staffing levels for the smaller student body. And because charter schools are independent under state law, the school district can't force them to take those types of corrective actions. They can only counsel. So the district has about 44 charter schools, and staff said that one closes every couple of years, and mainly for financial reasons.
And we have more about the problems at Nubia at kpbs.org. Education reporter Kyla Calvert. Official closing dates have been announced for 2 airport towers in San Diego County. The Federal Aviation Administration is closing them due to budget cuts. The Ramona Airport Tower is closing on April 7th, and the tower at Brown Field will close on May 5th. Both airports will remain open, but pilots will have to coordinate with each other for takeoffs and landings instead of having an air traffic controller to help them. San Diego City Council is holding a special meeting tomorrow. One of the topics, amendments to the operating agreement for the Tourism Marketing District. Mayor Filner has refused to sign it, calling it a bad deal for the city. And he won when the agency took him to court. Now, City Council has passed a resolution directing him to sign it.
They were shocked that the court hearing went against them. They just could not believe that they lost that kind of thing, because that's what they usually control. But I think they see that they better send me a signal now. I think that whole meeting yesterday was a purposefully staged confrontation to teach me a lesson, that if I challenge them in this way, they're going to fight back and embarrass me. Primaries, whatever.
Filner says he and TMD's chairman were very close to a resolution before yesterday's council meeting. He says he was shocked council didn't want him to keep talking it out. There will be a runoff election for San Diego's 4th District Council seat. Myrtle Cole and Dwayne Crenshaw were the top 2 finishers in Tuesday's vote, but neither got the majority vote needed to win the office outright. The date for a runoff hasn't been scheduled yet. But we do have a date for a special election to fill a state assembly seat. Voters in the 80th District will go to the polls on May 21st. They'll select someone to replace Ben Wesso, who was just sworn in to the state Senate. A new report says a measure to increase California's minimum wage could cost the state thousands of jobs. The legislature is considering a bill to raise the minimum wage from $8 an hour up to $9.25 an hour. A business group says if it goes through, California would lose 68,000 jobs over a decade. Supporters of the bill say a higher minimum wage would lead to increased consumer spending. Habitat for Humanity's first housing project for wounded warriors broke ground today in Lakeside. An empty dirt lot on Lakeshore Drive is being transformed by volunteers from Cox Communications, where 1 out of 4 workers there served in the military. What used to be a termite-infested home was raised to accommodate 4 new townhouses for disabled veterans and their families.
Building for the brave, and so it's going to be a component of what we do here in San Diego. We have more veterans than anywhere else in the country. It's a need. We, as a community, we need to embrace the veterans that come back home and make them part of the community. Home ownership is a great way to do that. So we're going to continue to provide homes for wounded veterans amongst all and any other homes that we build as well.
When you get hurt in combat, the new normal is you've lost a leg or you've lost a limb or you've lost something else. In this case, the new normal is you're building 4 houses for this community where you're bringing military combat veterans into the community, and the community is surrounding them with love and bringing them into this greater San Diego fold that we all love so much.
And a quick correction, 1 out of 10 workers at Cox served in the military. By the way, all 4 homes are scheduled to be completed by July 2015 and will be adapted to the special needs of wounded warriors, with the county, Home Depot, and SAIC providing financial support. Tonight, we continue our End of Life series with a look at the difficult choice dying patients are often asked to make. In order to qualify for government-paid hospice care, patients must forego expensive curative treatments such as chemotherapy. From our KPBS and iNewsSource investigations desk, Joanne Vereen tells us how this difficult choice may have contributed to money troubles at San Diego Hospice.
So if he's happy, then we'll leave it alone. But you sure wonder about a pancreatic cancer pain.
Dr. Bill Mitchell is an oncologist at Moores Cancer Center in San Diego, and he's also a palliative care doctor. Palliative medicine aims to treat all symptoms that accompany a serious illness: pain, anxiety, even fear. Many of the patients Mitchell sees are dying, and sometimes he has to ask them to make a difficult choice: continue chemotherapy, which won't cure their disease but could make them feel better, or choose hospice, which provides home care, visits from a nurse, home health aides, medicine to help with pain.
There are patients that really need hospice and really need chemotherapy that would genuinely benefit from both, that would feel better, live longer if they got both. But the reality is hospices can't afford to do that.
Medicare pays for hospice care. It's a daily rate for people who have 6 months or less to live. Hospices legally have the option to give patients chemotherapy, radiation, and even blood transfusions if they're used to palliate symptoms. In other words, make them feel better.
But the hospice has to pay for that. And they aren't reimbursed enough money to cover that. They'll go out of business.
And so hospices must also choose. Give a dying patient chemo or radiation so they feel better, maybe even live longer, but perhaps lose money. San Diego Hospice routinely gave dying patients so-called curative treatments, chemo, radiation, blood transfusions, and hospice care. It's not clear how the hospice was able to pay for those treatments or whether providing them contributed to its financial demise. The hospice is currently in bankruptcy court.
And are you taking LASIK still?
Dr. Eric Rowland is also a cancer doctor, and he's trained in palliative medicine. Both Rowland and Mitchell did their palliative training at San Diego Hospice.
Many patients that I took care of getting expensive treatments, blood transfusions, chemotherapy, radiation treatments, and a whole host of other things.
Who are anemic, have a high risk of bleeding, but boy, they just really want to get to that graduation, or they just really wanted to go to that wedding. And so they got their blood transfusion once a week.
The mantra was do the right thing for the patient. If it ends up costing us some more money, it's the right thing for the patient.
And as practicing oncologists, they referred patients to San Diego Hospice.
I had a patient who was very, very ill with a metastatic lung cancer, and she was so ill that she could barely speak, completely bedbound. She was too sick for chemotherapy, but we have a very expensive oral drug. Then we're left with this decision, what to do. San Diego Hospice paid for the drug.
And how much?
$4,000 a month. $4,000 a month for 8 months. So we did. This patient went from bedbound and unable to speak to sitting up at the table and peeling vegetables, helping her family prepare dinner. A prognosis that I had estimated on the order of a few weeks became 8 months before she died. And those were 8 good months. She needed both, desperately.
The new federal health care law was supposed to experiment with allowing dying patients to choose both hospice care and so-called curative treatments. In fact, the legal framework is in place to allow 15 hospices across the country to do so. But the money for the project has yet to be approved.
This hospice benefit is operating under the assumption that things are black or white. You get either or, A or B. And in all reality, if it were you or me, the choice is C, all the above. You want all the above. That's the right thing to do for people.
The risk is that if we learn that anti-cancer treatment and hospice care together make a big difference, we might have to pay for both simultaneously. Nobody knows for sure whether that's cheaper. There's a concern that it's more expensive.
Just how much money should matter at the end of life is a big question. Already, a quarter of all Medicare dollars are spent in the last year of life. From the KPBS and iNews Source Investigations Desk, I'm Joanne Ferrian.
iNews Source video journalist Brad Racino contributed to this story. You can see more at kpbs.org/endoflife.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next News Hour, the Supreme Court considers a second same-sex marriage case about the federal law that says marriage can be only between a man and a woman. That's Wednesday on the PBS News Hour.
San Diego Chargers are looking for a new tackle to protect quarterback Phillip Rivers' blind side. The team released left tackle Jared Gaither today after 2 seasons riddled with injuries. It will cost the Chargers a $6 million hit against the salary cap this year. Gaither signed a 4-year deal worth nearly $25 million, but played sparingly because of back and groin injuries. Rivers was sacked 49 times last year due to a lack of protection. Still cloudy for the next couple of days along the coast, with some sun breaking through by Saturday. Partly cloudy in the inland valleys as well. In the mountains, expect sunshine for the Easter weekend. Desert temperatures will climb into the upper 80s and low 90s. In show business, Broadway performers are known as the cream of the crop. They sing, they dance, they can make you laugh, make you cry, but it really takes a special energy, charisma, and pizzazz to become a Broadway star. Peggy Pico talks with one man who has that pizzazz.
Tony-winning song and dance man Ben Vereen is in San Diego this week on tour with his one-man cabaret show, Steppin' Out with Ben Vereen. It's my pleasure to welcome Broadway, television, and film star Ben Vereen. Thanks again for coming in.
How beautiful are you?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's talk about this new show of yours, Steppin' Out.
Yes.
How did you come up with this?
You know, for some time I've been wanting to do an autobiographical show. And finally I decided I want to do a show not about me, but to thank my audiences for the chance they've given me. And so now it's been processed. So this is the skeleton of that show that you'll see at the La Jolla Playhouse, and in preparation for a bigger show, which we hope to bring back to La Jolla, to bring it to Broadway, directed by Emily Mann. So that's the show that you see. That's how it came about. It came about because I've worked with some fabulous people, and I can't just say, well, thank you, bye. I want to say thank you. And so this is my thank you to them.
And it is your thank you. We actually have some video that we're looking at right now from your show at 54 Below in New York. And is this a similar a show?
It's a cut down version. The show that you'll see at the La Jolla Playhouse is a longer show and a better show.
Let's listen. Let's listen to it.
Okay. Away.
You've got some real dance moves there, as well as
yeah,
the voice.
From all I've been through, yes, I'm thankful to have my dance moves.
Now let's talk about this richly diverse career that you've had. You've had roles in Roots, Jesus Christ Superstar, Hair, Sweet Charity, and as I've just been reminded, Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yes, yes.
But you said this show is especially, I don't know, especially important to you. Is it because of the thank you, or is it because it's in San Diego?
First of all, yes, it's in San Diego. Yes, that's very special. I get to play what I'm going to eventually be my home, San Diego, because this is where I love San Diego, heaven. It's special because it's personal. It's personal. It gives me a chance to say thank you to my audiences, and to give them a little taste of where we've been, our journey, and where we're going, and the hopes. And if I can encourage somebody with my show, then my living is not in vain.
Oh, excellent. I want to say that I know a little bit about this Stepping Out, and you paid tribute to the legendary greats Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. You were close to Sammy Davis Jr.
Few, yes.
I want to take a clip from your performance on the Mike Douglas show right now. Let's take a look at that.
Okay.
This is the life. Here's where the living is. This is the life. Baby, you're there. This is the life. You've waited long enough. Give me some air. Baby, it's there. Wine and perfume. This is the life.
That was something.
That was an amazing moment, because we come back from London. Well, this last time I saw Sammy, we did Golden Boy together, and Mike had me on the show hosting that week. And so the last person I thought would show up would be Sammy Davis Jr. And he walks on stage. I was floored.
It completely stunned you. It looked like this performance at the Playhouse Cabaret Series is going to be in an intimate setting, as opposed to, let's say, your large audiences like you're used to, like the 100,000 people you performed in front of at the Washington Monument. How does performing in such an intimate space sort of change your performance, or does it?
Well, you said the key word, intimate. It becomes personal. We begin to share something that's very unique, I like to think, because we're one-on-one. In the small settings, we're really one-on-one. So I get to really be personal with you. Whereas with the bigger audience, you've got to reach to the rafters. Now I can reach to the heart.
A little bit closer. You attended performing arts school in New York.
Yes, I did.
What moment in your childhood, or when did you have this moment that you said, yes, I am going to be a performer, and this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to performing arts schools?
I never said I wanted to be a performer.
No.
No. It took me. It chose me. I had other directions in my mind. You know, that's what's so, you know, it's so funny. It is a saying, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. You know, and I had other plans in mind, but God, the Divine One, had other.
We're glad he
journey.
did.
I'm glad too.
Well, I think
I'm glad
we are.
too, because the journey's been wonderful and amazing. But we all have that amazing journey, don't we, in our lives, if we wake up to it.
Well, I think people can hear more about your amazing life by going to your performance. Stepping Out with Ben Vereen will be at the La Jolla Playhouse March 29th through 31st. For tickets and more information, you can go to our website, kpbs.org. Ben Vereen, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you, my queen.
Recapping tonight's top story, a truce has been declared in the San Diego hospice bankruptcy case. Attorneys representing both the hospice and its creditors agreed to work together to sell the organization's largest asset, its property in Hillcrest. The hospital and 8 acres are assessed at more than $18 million. Scripps has already made an offer to buy the property for about $10 million. Creditors accuse the hospice of giving Scripps preferential treatment. You can find tonight's stories and download the KPBS app, all on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.